artificial intelligence, AI, is slowly infiltrating all aspects of our lives and work. Thanks to AI, learning languages has become much easier. Voice assistants in our cars are becoming more intelligent, executing our commands. Programmers save half the time writing their code, and doctors can pay more attention to patients by offloading routine tasks and paperwork to AI. Microsoft, who has always been at the leading edge of innovation, is actively integrating AI in its products. So today I'm going to dive into Microsoft's annual report to understand how Microsoft integrates AI in its multiple products and how much money it makes by doing so. Come join me for this discovery. First of all, we see in the report that to push into AI, Microsoft partnered with OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT. It also acquired AI companies Nuance and GitHub to integrate their technology in Microsoft's products, as well as a gaming company focused on AI, Activision Blizzard. Now, what different product categories Microsoft develops and sells? Microsoft tells us in the report, we operate our business and report our financial performance using three segments: productivity and business processes, intelligent cloud, and more personal computing. We also learned from the report that to do all that, Microsoft employs 221,000 people, about half of them in the US. About one-third of Microsoft's workforce, 72,000, are in research and development, which drives innovation for these products. Further in the report, they say, our success is highly dependent on our ability to attract and retain qualified employees, which makes sense because Microsoft has to compete with other innovative giants such as Google, Apple, Amazon, and many others. Therefore, recruiting top talent is critical to Microsoft's success. Now let's look at the three product divisions one by one to understand how Microsoft makes money in each of them, and then later we will look at the actual numbers and earnings. We'll start with more personal computing, as many of us interact with these products as consumers, all of them now being enhanced with AI. Under more personal computing division, Microsoft sells Windows operating system that we use with our PCs, physical devices such as Surface tablets, HoloLens augmented reality glasses, and computer accessories. Gaming also belongs in this division, which includes Xbox console and Xbox content, which Microsoft is trying to bring to the next level with its acquisition of Activision Blizzard, an AI gaming company. Another part of this division is search and news advertising, which includes Bing, the search engine, in which Microsoft is in partnership with Yahoo, and Microsoft Edge, a web browser. The biggest moneymaker for Microsoft in this division is Windows, which generated $21.5 billion for Microsoft in 2023, although contributions from other products, as we can see here, are also significant. Microsoft has enhanced Windows with AI Copilot, which it introduced with Windows 11. Microsoft makes money with Windows and Microsoft Office by selling licenses in high volume directly to original equipment manufacturers like Dell, Hewlett-Packard, Lenovo, who pre-install Windows on computers and tablets they sell. It also sells licenses indirectly through distributors, resellers, and retailers who then sell to end consumers like you and I. In this division, more personal computing, Microsoft faces some serious competitors. In Windows, it's up against Apple and Google, who offer their own operating systems. In devices, it competes against Apple and other computer, tablet, and hardware manufacturers. In gaming, Microsoft Xbox competes against console manufacturers Sony and Nintendo, as well as game streaming services of Amazon, Apple, Meta, and Tencent. And in search engines, Microsoft Bing is way behind the absolute leader Google, which has 80+% market share in search. Later on, we'll see how much total sales the more personal computing division brings to Microsoft a year. Now on to the Productivity and Business Processes division. As part of this division, Microsoft sells Office software to businesses and consumers, sells extra services on its free LinkedIn social network that help people find work and organizations find talent, and sells cloud-based Dynamics solutions to large enterprises. These solutions include financial management, enterprise resource planning, ERP, customer relationships management, CRM, and supply chain management. Sales depend on the number of users licensed and applications consumed. AI powers all of these offerings, mostly through something Microsoft calls a co-pilot integrated in its software. For example, the co-pilot in Dynamics Business Solutions is also used internally by Microsoft employees. Here they say, our own support agents are using co-pilot in Dynamics 365 customer service to resolve more cases faster and without having to call on peers to help. Copilot is also used in supply chain management and sales solutions. As for LinkedIn, Microsoft says that AI-powered articles are already the fastest-growing traffic driver to the network. Here we also learned that LinkedIn has 950,000 members, and despite being a free network, it generated $15 billion in revenue for Microsoft in 2023 through premium subscriptions and value-added marketing, talent, and sales solutions. Also, as security has become a growing concern for businesses, Microsoft's AI-powered Security Copilot is part of business solutions it offers. And here we see that security alone generated $20 billion in revenue for Microsoft in 2023. Office commercial and Office consumer sales are driven by the number of packages installed on users' computers. We see here that Office products are a significant contributor to Microsoft's overall revenue in 2023 at $48.7 billion. In addition, as part of Office Consumer, Microsoft makes money through Skype, Outlook, and OneDrive, mainly with subscriptions and advertising. In this division, Productivity and Business Processes, Microsoft also faces some powerful competitors. In Office, it's up against Apple, Cisco Systems, Meta, Google, Okta, Proofpoint, Slack, Symantec, and Zoom. In LinkedIn, it competes with other social networks, and in Dynamics, it's up against such global giants as Oracle, Salesforce, and SAP. Finally, Microsoft's third division is Intelligent Cloud, which provides cloud-based storage solutions and services mainly to business clients. The star in this division is Microsoft Azure, which offers servers for storage of data and infrastructure for code development to organizations. Here, the report tells us that Azure is optimized by AI. The main competitors for Azure are Amazon, with its very successful Amazon Web Services, AWS, as well as Google, IBM, Oracle, VMware, and free open source offerings that exist on the market. This division of Microsoft makes the most money for the company out of three divisions. We see in the report that server products and cloud services generated almost $80 billion in revenue for Microsoft in 2023. Because of a highly competitive environment, Microsoft must protect the intellectual property of its innovations. To that effect, here we see that Microsoft has a portfolio of over 70,000 US and international patents issued and over 19,000 pending worldwide. Now let's find out how much money each division generates for Microsoft. Here we see the split in sales between the three divisions. Not surprisingly, the biggest money maker is the Intelligent Cloud, as we noted earlier, which offers storage and code development solutions to businesses at almost $88 billion, followed by Productivity and Business Processes, which includes Office, LinkedIn, and Dynamics solutions at $69.2 billion. And finally, the more personal computing division, which includes the sales of Windows operating system, Xbox gaming, tablets, and accessories at $54.7 billion in sales. Overall, we can say that Microsoft's sales are well balanced between the three divisions. There is no one division that Microsoft heavily depends on. All three divisions are quite close in their contributions to revenue, which is a good thing as it balances the risk for Microsoft. So we see here that in total, Microsoft made $211 billion in sales in 2023. The next thing we see is the total operating income of $88.5 billion, which is what's left of sales after deducting operating expenses. This is a very good result compared to companies in other industries, which means that expenses of Microsoft are not that high in proportion to sales, which allows Microsoft to preserve most of its profit. Still, let's take a look at what the major operating expenses are for a company like Microsoft. Scrolling down, we see that Microsoft spends 13% of its total sales, or $27.2 billion, on research and development, which makes sense for an innovative technology company like Microsoft. Another major expense is sales and marketing, on which Microsoft spends 11% of its sales, or $22.8 billion. Now moving on to the income statement. As we have seen earlier, the total revenue of Microsoft was almost $212 billion in 2023. After the total expenses are deducted, Microsoft's income before income taxes was $89 billion. Then it had to pay almost $17 billion in taxes to the government and was left with $72.3 billion of net profit. What we notice here is that although the top line, revenue, increased for Microsoft in 2023 in comparison to previous years, the bottom line, net profit, was about the same as in 2022. The reason seems to be that Microsoft paid a lot more in taxes in 2023 than it did in 2022, I assume due to higher income. Calculating the profit margin for Microsoft, $72.3 billion in profit divided by $212 billion in sales makes about 34% profit margin. This is an excellent margin and is a norm for a technology company in Microsoft's industry, which is amongst the most profitable industries out there. Compare this with 2 to 3% profit margin that grocery stores make in North America, and you see the difference. Overall, this annual report shows us that Microsoft pushes hard to be a leader in new and emerging technologies such as AI, but so do its competitors, Apple, Google, Amazon, Oracle, and other leading technology companies. In this type of a competitive dynamic, there is no choice for Microsoft but to try to be first in integrating new technologies. Otherwise, it would risk falling behind as competitors establish a stronger footprint in the industry with their artificial intelligence solutions. That's what happened years ago in search engines. Microsoft was too late to react and create its search engine, letting Google take the lead. And Microsoft still cannot catch up to Google after all these years. We as consumers, as well as businesses, benefit from this chase for innovation between technological giants, as we get to enjoy the latest technology with improved efficiencies and convenience. As for Microsoft, its earnings remain solid, and we can expect strong performance from the company in the near future.